It came out like June 28th? Oh my god. There's no shot, dude. How do you lose? How do you lose half? I think personally the biggest thing, the world sucks, the characters suck, the music's not that good. I feel like the writing is ass.
So it sucks that you can't look at PC sales on this, revenue.
Wait. We're not saying that, right? There is no world. That is copium as Gacha Smack. He's making a lot of good points, valid claims, but Zenless Zone Zero made 100 million. Spoiler alert. But here's the problem. I would be very interested to know what the problem is. Game earning 100 million, there's a problem? Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video by yours truly. It is that time of the month. Sensori Tower released the revenue for the month of July, which is also Zenless Zone Zero's debut launch, and the numbers might appear to be quite shocking to a lot of people who look at them as a first impression of just, taking a gander. I have some interesting thoughts on this situation. I think the numbers do tell a quite interesting story, and you might be surprised with what I point out based off of what I'm seeing in front of me. But I can already imagine the comment section, right? You got the kudo shills, you got the Hoyo shills.
Wuthering Waves, look at it. It didn't even make it in the top 5. It's not a part of the big 4. It's a big failure.
Wait, did Wuwa not make it to the top 5 at launch? Wait, is that what he said?
Big flop.
And then you got the Hoyo cucks, bro. They're like,
see, you guys, you were due posting Zenless Zone Zero, and look at it now. It's number 1.
It's so freaking obvious. It's so easy to predict what people are gonna say. I'll tell you right now.
I don't know, dude. I will say it. I'm not a total Hoyo shill, okay? I don't play Genshin, and I dropped HSR. So going into Zenless Zone Zero, personally, I was not expecting to like it as much as I am. I wasn't. It was a gacha game, and I fell off on HSR. I loved HSR at the start, but I fell off on it, and I was like, okay, it's just going to be another gacha game that I fall off on. I played Wuwa. I fell off on that. I was just like, it's just going to be a gacha game. It's just going to be a gacha game. I'm going to have to, play Stranova. I'm going to have to, make my channel on some other game in the far-off future. And then I played Zenless Zone Zero. And then I was, really paying attention to the story. That's what really captivated me. And it turned out to be fantastic. And I realized then and there, gameplay cannot hold a gacha on its own. And you need other things to kind of keep you in the loop. And so far, I'm really invested in the story, the lore, the characters. And I feel like the presentation, everything is top notch, So yeah, I wasn't expecting going into this game to like it as much as I did. Not even from a content perspective. I can't force myself to like games for content, guys. If I could force myself to like games for content, I would be a Power World streamer. Okay? My videos for Power were doing f***ing amazing. But I couldn't. I could not do it. So, I'm just saying.
This video will probably get over 1,000 comments. I'll tell you that right now. It'll probably land between 30 to 40,000 views.
How close are we? Damn, okay. Okay, dude, there's probably a war zone in here, man. The Kurobots and the Hoyo shills, all guns out, all blazing. Oh my god. I need to take a look. We'll take a look after that.
But it'll get over 1,000 comments, which is a lot of comments for that kind of volume. Anyways, without further ado, I want to look at the main topic here, and then I want to also take a gander at some of the other games that I feel have been moving up or moving down. Let's get into it. Before we go any further, I just want you guys to know I do not have a hat in.
Let's fucking go. Oh my god. Wait, what? Am I reading this right? Okay, I've never really looked at these charts, right? I've kind of looked at it every now and then, but am I reading that right? So for China, we got 30,000 more than Love and Deep Space, which I don't know what the fuck that game is. Probably, yeah, Fujo Kumerbait game. And then you have the global Zenless Zone Zero on the number 3 spot. Holy, dude. That is insane. Beating Naruto? Beating Dragon Ball? Beating Monster Strike? Holy shit. Dead game, by the way, guys. Dead game. This game, dead as
in this race, and I do not care who's number 1, who's number 2, who's number 3. I merely like to look at the metrics and information presented in front of me with a rational and objective sense of mind.
Wow.
So know that whatever I say has no vitriol feelings attached to it. It's just merely commenting on what I see in front of me. I know y'all might think you don't have to say that, Smack, but there's some weird motherfuckers in this community who really take this shit to heart, believe it or not.
You know what it is? I feel in a place of privilege almost, in that I never really liked Wuwa enough to make content about it, but I feel like every gacha creator who was making content on Wuthering Waves, so Tectone 100%, Gacha Smack, Mr. Pokey, right? There's a million of them that I can't think of off the top of my head, but every one of them who was making Legion's Gaming, right? He quit Zenless Zone Zero recently, right? But every one of them who was making Wuwa content and then tried to dip their toes into Zenless Zone Zero, because obviously new gacha game, who couldn't get hyped for a new gacha game, they're just getting so much flack from their viewer base for liking Zenless Zone Zero, for going back to praising Hoyoverse, because the Wuthering Waves was supposed to be the Genshin killer, the Hoyo killer, you know? Prove once and for all that there could be another company other than Hoyoverse. So that's, for me, I've never gotten that. I've never gotten any flack for loving Zenless as much as I did. There are some people in my comments on my 100+ hour review video telling me like, oh, I'm a Hoyo shill, but very little. There's very little. A lot of people actually, even the Wuthering Waves people, they say, oh, you have some fair points. Oh, you actually put your thoughts out pretty eloquently. Oh, okay. You know, like, they actually respected my opinion. Very little hate comments in there. But I think that's just because, like, I'm kind of just coming into this gacha space content wheel. You know what I mean? And so it just means that my opinion doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things, right? So they don't really feel the need to shoot me down. I think that's what it really is. I think that's what it is, you know? But still, it was fun.
That said, a lot of people might be thinking Zenless Zone Zero absolutely crushed it. In fact, let's go to the combined revenue so we can see. I do want to talk about a couple of talking points here, but combined revenue-wise, Zenless Zone Zero made pretty much $100 million in 1 month.
Oh my god. So that's combined? Genshin Impact combined? We got 60 mil on them? Oh my god. People were really waiting for a new gacha game. I feel like, though, honestly, it's not just because it's new. I think Zenless Zone Zero is good. I think it's a good game. I think it's respectful of your time. It says, yo, you only got like 5 minutes, 2 minutes to play a game? Do your dailies? Go ahead. Do it. Just pile on 5 cards for your dailies. Drink coffee whenever you want. I like the coffee mechanics so much because it's not like stockpiled energy, but it's like when you do have the time in the day to actually do the 3 enemies for the coffee, you can do it. You know, the coffee is really nice too. There's just a lot of accessibility, a lot of quality of life with playing the game casually. And then when you really want to get into it, you really want to dive deep and do the good stuff, Shiyu defense in the critical nodes, it's really fun. And then Nineveh, oh my god, Nineveh. Crazy. I honestly think most normies love zzzero. Absolutely. Absolutely, because it's the most catered to normies. Because normies work a 9 to 5. Normies have a life. They have a job. They have a family. They have kids. They got school. and they're doing all of those things. Of course, they're gonna like a gacha game that says, "Yo, you don't have to play me forever, or you don't have to play me for even 10 minutes." We were watching that one video from Valkyria. This guy, he said like, "Oh, Zenless Zone Zero is good," and he didn't really give that many reasons why. I think Hexjuice made a reaction to this video, and called him out. He didn't really make a lot of great points. He didn't make too many good points either, but he did. The funniest thing is his response to that reaction. First of all, he called it a drama. I feel like it's only Hexjuice who talked about it. But he made a response to that reaction. It was the funniest video I ever watched because he doesn't actually respond or talk about what Hexjuice says at all. He's just like doing his dailies. And essentially he showed that you do 10 minutes for dailies in Wuthering Waves and you do 5 minutes for dailies on Zenless Zone Zero. And I think he was doing absolutely everything for dailies. So he was just showing that you're doing twice the work, and you might think, oh, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, not a big difference. Twice is a big difference. Twice is a big difference. Every day, twice. I'm a lazy motherfucker, okay? I don't know live gacha games. I like to play other games than gacha games, I like to fit a lot of other games on my schedule. And for normal people, they have a very packed schedule filled with so many other things. The less time it takes, the better. And when it gives you a game to sink your teeth into, that's the perfect combination.
A lot of people are like, oh my God, that's insane, right? People are looking at Wuthering Waves, seeing 46 million drop down to 29 million and thinking, oh, it's falling off. It's not doing good. I know some of y'all are mature adults and you understand that 30 million in 1 month is far from that, but some people actually think it's falling off.
It's dead.
I want to give my thoughts on what I see before me. Here's some factuals, guys. If we go and take a look at the months before, let's look at March, okay? In March, Honkai Star Rail between China and global made $150 million, pretty much roughly. Genshin
Holy
Impact made
Uma Musume, 4th place. Sheesh.
Another $68 million.
Cam is covering the numbers. There you go. Sorry about that.
Right, so we take that 150 plus 68, that's over $200 million in the month of March. In the month of February, 90 million from Honkai Star Rail, and in Genshin
Uma Musume makes a lot of money. I know. The game is good. Uma Musume is a good game. I love that game. It's coming to global, yes. Uma Musume is coming to global. I cannot wait. Side games, please hurry the up.
Impact plus these two combined is looking at pretty much 90 million as well. That's $180 million in the months of February and March. Oh, well, that's just March and February, Smack. Okay, let's look at the other months. Let's look at April. In the month of April, Genshin Impact made 82 million China, and then another 36 million in global. That's over $100 million. Honkai Star Rail, over $100 million. That's over 200 million in revenue in the month of April.
Okay. What I would say from this, and he's probably going to say it too. So it seems like the market cap, the most you could expect, at least from those months, I haven't really looked at everything else, is like 150 mil, because that's what Honkai Star Rail hit, right? So like, even though Zenless Zone Zero is doing very hot, it still didn't really reach like 150, right? Which says some things. I feel like though Zenless Zone Zero is ramping up. Honestly, I feel like Zenless is ramping up, and I feel like we can hit those numbers. It's just gonna take a little bit of time, I see no wrongs here. Oh, absolutely not. All of this is an amazing amount of money, okay? But still, my gacha game better than your gacha game. Get fucked.
Bear with me here. All of this is going to make perfect sense. Now let's go to May. In the month of May, Honkai Star Rail. That's $87 million. Genshin Impact. That's that did horrible that month, but still.
Get fucked. Holy, just 50?
50 million plus 87. That's $137 million. We'll put that as the bottom. And then finally, I want to look at the month of June. In June, this is where the game got froze. for, let me pull it back up. Sorry. This is where the game got froze for 3 days. Allegedly. I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But the community was like all in agreement with it. So maybe it has some merit to it. Regardless.
Okay.
In the month of June, Honkai Star Rail made $95 million. Genshin Impact made 67. We're at $160 million there. Right, that's $162 million. Now
Yeah.
I can get to my point. When we look at the debut launch of Zenless Zone Zero, which is the strongest month of a game, usually, it made 96.
At least for a while, right? Because there could be better months, right? But at least for a long time, the debut is like usually the strongest. If not of all time, it's the strongest.
6 million. But what happened to Genshin and Honkai? They fell off a cliff. 50% drop in revenue. Or dude, that's a massive, dude, that's cut in half. This 3 times the revenue drop, 35 and 36. Coincidentally though, Zenless Zone Zero went up.
But this is good, right? This is kind of their strat too, right? I know he's going to talk, but this is kind of their strat too. They want a cycle. They want a cycle of these games, right? Right now it's Zenless Zone Zero's turn, and then Natlan's about to, I don't know, does this count Natlan? Did Natlan drop in the middle of the month or on the last week? I don't even know. But I'm just saying, like, they want a cycle of these games. Natlan hasn't dropped yet? Oh, okay. There you go. So I feel like this is all according to their plan, right? I feel like this is all according to their plan.
I look at what Genshin Impact and Honkai is able to bring in before ZZZ ever came out.
Yeah.
They were doing better than these numbers combined. I'm looking at Hoyoverse as a company collectively with all of their IPs. When I look at these from a business standpoint, I'm asking myself, when they drop another IP, is that IP raising their overall revenue value or is it underperforming?
Okay.
When you look at this, 162 million between Genshin Impact and Honkai last month with 3 days of freeze, if that's true, versus guess what? Oh, same exact amount of money. We got 70 million, so it went up like 10 million. They didn't even outperform their 2 IPs before the brand new IP came out. So I'm not saying they didn't do good. There's still not enough data because we're only going off of just 1 month. My question to you guys is, and I don't know the answer, is this just the same exact audience of Hoyoverse and the Hoyo sphere transitioning over to their other games to play their other games and spend their money? Because if that,
I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe with Honkai Star Rail, there's some overlap with Honkai Star Rail and Zenless, but I don't think like a lot of Genshin. I don't think there's that many Genshin Impact players playing Zenless Zone Zero. Okay, that wording it that way kind of sounds stupid. But what I mean is like I do think Zenless Zone Zero is capturing a new audience, right? Because a lot of people are also kind of like missed the boat with Genshin Impact. And honestly, Genshin Impact, yeah, it's a 3D action combat game, but it's also an open world game. It's also an open world game, and the character designs are not as like stylish or bombastic as the Zenless Zone Zero designs, I think. You know, I feel like Zenless Zone Zero is captivating a new audience. It is bringing a fresh sort of crowd onto this Hoyo train, right? And likewise, I don't think a lot of Zenless players are playing the other Hoyo games. I definitely am not playing Genshin Impact, you know? I don't think I'm playing a lot of Genshin. I don't know if you guys... Are you guys playing Genshin? How many of you guys are playing Genshin at the same time as Zenless? I think Zenless is catching a new audience, honestly. Check the comment for the context why Genshin and HSR drop. Okay, I'll check it later. It's not only the same audience. Yeah. I pulled Nilo and got off. I play all of them, never touched Genshin in my life. I do, but I stopped spending. Okay, so it seems like a handful of you guys still play Genshin. Okay. I didn't really know that. Honestly, I didn't really know that. I feel like though that a lot of fresh people did come with Zenless Zone Zero still, because there are so many things that Zenless Zone Zero provides as a niche that Genshin Impact doesn't, which is very quick, fast dailies, not an open world gameplay that doesn't bog you down. I feel like a lot of people don't really understand how overwhelming an open world is, right? I really do think it is really overwhelming. And for people like me, it feels pointless. It feels pointless because it's not the open world game that I know from other games. It's not like Elden Ring. It's not like Skyrim. It's not like Breath of the Wild. The exploration to these worlds is not appealing to me. Genshin Impact's exploration. For the other games, it is, absolutely, because again, like Tectone said in that one video where he was talking about my reaction to EO, the great thing about the open world games that I mentioned, Elden Ring, Skyrim, Breath of the Wild, Metal Gear Solid 5, is that when you explore, you are rewarded with different gameplay, dynamic gameplay, different weapons, different options, different abilities, right? Ways to level up your character. Whereas with Zenless Zone Zero even and Genshin Impact, you have your character, it has this box, and you're just filling it in. You're filling up the box. You're filling in the box, right? You're realizing that character's full potential to whatever degree. But it's not like in those other games, it feels like you're getting new limbs. You're getting new modes, new different like ways to play the game. The thing is, like with open world Genshin Impact, I feel like a lot of people feel like it's either shallow or it's overwhelming. And Zenless Zone Zero allows you to enjoy that 3D combat space without having to do all that, right? That's how I feel. Because that's exactly my story. I don't like Genshin Impact, and I'll probably never play Genshin Impact, you know? That's how I see it. But yeah.
That is the case, that means Hoyoverse failed to capture a new market. It's just the same market existing, right? Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, their numbers dropped because they just went over to play Zenless Zone Zero, and their maximum revenue didn't even get breached. They made 160 million. I just showed y'all they made 200 million 3 months. Then they made 170 or 180. They can't even outperform what they were doing before the new IP came out. So
I think this is a valid argument, but I feel like it can't be proven against, you know? It can't be proved against. That's the thing. And that is a little frustrating because there's no way I could tell you like, oh, Zenless Zone Zero definitely captured a new crowd when the combined revenue of Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact, and Honkai Star Rail doesn't outperform its previous months. That's his argument. He's saying that the money from Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail are being transferred into Zenless. It is being fed into there. The people who would have spent on Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail simply aren't because Zenless Zone Zero exists. That's his argument, and I feel like that is a valid claim. And unfortunately, it's not something that can be disproven, and or at least from what I understand. Now, some people are saying in the comments, you know, there might be some more information, explanation as to why Genshin Honkai didn't perform as well, which is fine. That's fair. I'm just going off my first impressions right now. And I feel like we cannot say exactly that Zenless managed to capture a new audience, but I feel like intuitively, I feel like it has. Not colloquially. How do you feel like it? How do you say it? From firsthand experience, you know? From my own experience, when I hear about people talking about this game, my friends, my brothers talking about this game, it is a fresh experience how their friends who haven't played those other gacha games getting into this game, it feels like it is catching a new audience. It is kind of like the next train, right? That is picking up people who kind of feel like maybe FOMO, like they didn't get into Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail. Now they could catch this train, if that makes sense. I think the key word is also diversify. It's very hard to keep such a big player base engaged with only one product that tries to make everyone happy. Absolutely. And I feel like Zenless Zone Zero does diversify. Obviously, there is a lot of overlap between Zenless and Genshin, but I feel like there is enough differences in Zenless and a different niche that it like covers. His take is dumb because spending is dependent on the character. Like a hype character brings more money than a mid character rerun. His take is every banner makes the same money roughly, which is not true. It's not. He's not saying that it is true. He's just, that is the observation. That is the observation, and I think it is a valid claim. But yeah, it does ignore the fact that Honkai and Genshin right now just doesn't really have a really hype character to roll for. I think that's what you guys are saying, right? And that is a fair point. That is a fair counterpoint. You know, that is a fair counterpoint. But I don't think he's saying though, like, the launch of this game is not reaching the same levels of launch from the other games, right? And I think that's something that has nothing to do with the characters. We're talking about Zenless. Zenless has a new character, has Ellen. Ellen is super Coomer bait, you know. That should put it to those numbers. It should hit similar numbers. And so the question is, why isn't it? You know? Why isn't it? So...
Did it really succeed is my question to you guys. I'm not saying that the shit, I'm asking you. I'm genuinely asking, did it actually succeed? Or is it just the same people spending the same money? Here's the one pro I can say to you guys. If Zenless Zone Zero increases how often Hoyoverse makes 150 million or more mobile version wise only, strictly speaking, that's a W. That's the worst case scenario, but it's still a W, because what that means is Hoyoverse is now consistently always hitting 150 million because they just got their pre-existing consumers to spend money more often. Oh, you didn't spend in Honkai Star Rail this month because it's a dead patch? Yeah. Well, you spent in Zenless Zone Zero, right? So they're taking the customer they already have in front of them and just making them spend money more often, which still is an increase in their net profits. Or not net, gross. I get net and gross confused all the goddamn time. Regardless, if they on a bare minimum before ZZZ, they make, I don't know, 70 million bare minimum and 200 million maximum. That's usually the number, the mid max that they go in between.
Yeah.
But ZZZ takes their mid from 70 million to 150, and now they always make 150 to 200. That's a W, right? Because now they're always making 150 bare minimum, whereas before they were making 70 bare minimum. That is a W, but at the end of the day, I am looking at that as a filler game for when their other two games have dead patches. That's one variable. However, this is, again, I would like to say this again, this is just the first month. What if in month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, you see Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail revenue numbers jump back up to the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100, and then you still see Zenless Zone Zero hitting 90 million or 80 or 70 million, because any of those are very sizable numbers and figures. If that month comes where you see Honkai and Genshin perform high like they normally do, and you see ZZZ still performing high, now we have the answer that ZZZ has absolutely crushed it. They've targeted a brand new market and captured a new audience because now Hoyoverse is making more money than they've ever made before. You see?
Right. So basically, the jury's still out, right? That's what he's saying. He's saying that if Zenless Zone Zero continues to provide these numbers, and they are basically increasing that market cap that Hoyoverse has collectively between all their three games, then that is proving without a shadow of a doubt that Zenless Zone Zero has managed to capture a new audience. I would say, though, I would extend it to even if they are able to hit the 150 mil more consistently, that is also the case. Because Zenless might have dead patches too, you know? Zenless might have dead patches too. So I feel like, though, like, as long as it's hitting it consistently, those numbers, Zenless has succeeded. And I mean, right now, I feel like it's already succeeded. This is my anecdotal, that's the word. My anecdotal feel, my anecdotal evidence. It's all feels, but I feel like Zenless has managed to capture a new audience. And I feel like it provides a lot that Genshin Impact doesn't cover, personally. So I feel like it is doing its job. And I feel like it is going to ramp up and improve. Just the content, the story. It feels like they are taking a much more strategic or planned approach with the lore, with how everything is rolling out and shaking out, in my opinion. I mean, maybe ZZZ costed 15 mil to produce, so maybe it's a massive W already. I feel like it costs quite a bit. I mean, like, do you see the amount of assets that they have? all the like the tape covers, the art, there's so much different art in Zenless Zone Zero. But then again, I mean, like, it's all stuff that wouldn't have went to the open world too. So maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I feel like the open world's like too much. But we will have a results around August or September. It's Jane versus Natlan versus Fei Xiao. That'd be crazy. Genshin costed 100 million to produce. ZZZ probably costed way less. Yeah, it might have. It might have. I can't tell you, honestly. I feel like there's a lot of quality put into ZZZ, but I mean, yeah, it's not an open world game, you know. It is not an open world game. There's a lot of music. There is a lot of artwork. Hoyo eventually wants a game that has a big update every week. Genshin, HSR, and ZZZ altogether gives players a big update every other week. The next game is an Animal Crossing style game and will fit between those three in update cadence. I understand what their goals are, Nather, but what Gacha Smack is saying, and also like what I understand and would agree, is that Zenless Zone Zero, does it do its job, right? Does it fulfill its purpose in garnering a new audience and basically making Hoyoverse collectively together a lot more money? Or is it simply just taking from the Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail audience? And, you know, I feel like you can't say for certain it isn't. But for me personally, I feel like it has. You know? Also, yeah, the animations and comic panels. And also the voice work. The voice work is crazy. It's very, very good. There's a lot of quality. I feel like a lot of money went into that.
See, when I look at this, I look at it as, let's say a YouTuber averages 20 million views a month, right?
Yeah.
And then the YouTuber decides to implement in this new format of presenting their content. And now they go from averaging 20 million a month to 21 million a month. That means the new content presentation actually increased their overall volume of performance, which means that's a W.
Yeah.
That's how I'm looking at Zenless Zone Zero. But if the YouTuber averages 15 to 20 million a month, and then they bring in this new presentation format that makes them go from averaging 15 to 20 to 17 to 20, well, now that's still a W. What they did still increased their overall average volume of performance. Ultimately,
and I feel like the jury is still out because Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, July cycle for Genshin and Honkai this month, it hasn't been that great, right? Content-wise? HSR just had a dead patch, TBH? Really? Wasn't Jade supposed to be, like, today? Or not today, this month? Jade is filler? Oh, shit. She wasn't hyped? Everyone said Jade was poo-poo, plus she came after Firefly? That's true. Firefly was super hype. Firefly had, like, they pulled out all the stops for Firefly. They even, like, had, like, voicemail messages or, like, made a bot that you could call, and she's, like, singing you a song and singing you lullabies or some shit. They pulled out all the stops for fucking Firefly. All right, let's go.
What I'm trying to tell you guys is it's actually too soon to look at that as a success based off of what I'm looking at. Because based off what I'm looking at, it's actually not a success. If anything, they barely even broke even.
I wouldn't say it's not a success. I would say the jury is still out. You don't know. We have no idea.
And on what they do with their other two games, it might even be a bit of a failure. But as time goes by, time will tell if this was a new audience and Genshin and Honkai just had a bad month, or if it's just them competing.
I mean, okay, we know Honkai had a bad month with Jade, right? What about Genshin? All the Genshin Impact players. How is the Genshin patch for July? Waiting for Natlan is just reruns. Everyone's saving for Natlan. True. I think so too. Natlan looks good. I like the character designs for Natlan. Obviously, a lot of controversy with, you know, darker skin tone. But that aside, I do like Natlan's character designs. I was actually thinking about playing Genshin for the character designs. Honestly, I like the new girl that they put. I don't know what her name is. Let me take a look. Mualani. This character's cute as fuck. I like this design a lot, you know? So, like, I was even thinking about playing Genshin, but then I realized I would have to play Genshin. So, you know, I think Nightland will be a big hit. I think Nightland will be a big hit, and I think that is part of the plan. I think that is part of the plan to have the Fei Xiao, to have Natlan, and also we're gonna get, you know, more Zenless content. 1.1, right? We have Zhu Yan. We're gonna get Qing Yi. I think this month is gonna be huge for Hoyoverse, and we're gonna have to see like the caps almost for all these games. Not really, honestly, but like, cause I feel like Fei Xiao. I don't know. Are you guys hyped for Fei Xiao? Because I'm not really that hyped to go back to Shenzhou Lofu, honestly. I'm not that hyped. For Penacony, I think that seems good. But for like going back to Shenzhou Lofu, I don't know. Penacony is much more hype. I think so too. I'm hyped for Lingsha. Lingsha is they're going strong for the month of August. So we're going to see. We're going to see like if we're reaching that new cap. Kind of like what someone said Fob said.
With themselves in a bad way, right?
Yeah.
Or they're always going to have an increased minimum performance. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's my thoughts on this. I don't really look at it as Zenless Zone Zero killed it. I looked at it as Zenless Zone Zero just has the same damn audience. Now, I will tell you, as usual,
I don't think so, dude. I don't think so, man. Like, there's this one like super unhinged tweet. Twitter. Oh my god, there was this one super unhinged tweet. I'm gonna find it on Akron's video. Oh god. Good thing you guys are seeing my face and not this person's feed. There's a very good thing. Negative reviews on ZZZ are probably going to hurt Hoyoverse the most, since it only just released. The base app doesn't take up too much storage, so even if you just download it to review, please do so. Please do so. ZZZ only has 4.9k total rating, so we can easily overload it. So this guy, if you guys don't understand, basically this person is a Genshin Impact shill. They play Genshin Impact only, I guess. And right now, Genshin Impact is having like a boycott going on. They want to boycott Hoyoverse because Genshin Impact doesn't have like brown enough characters for Natlen, which is whatever. That's fine. That's like the cause is okay. The boycott is retarded because they're not boycotting it correctly. Anyway, this person is saying to review bomb ZZZ. If you want to really boycott Hoyoverse, it's not that you shouldn't play Genshin Impact. You should review bomb ZZZ instead. So this person is clearly not playing ZZZ. You know? This person is clearly not playing ZZZ. And I would go so far as to say that there's a lot of people playing Genshin Impact that aren't playing ZZZ. You know? I feel like Genshin Impact has a very like fairy tale, lovey-dovey, like everything's soft and sweet, and you know, I feel like it caters to a different audience than Zenless Zone Zero. Zenless Zone Zero, you're talking about like fucking loan sharks. You have like interest, right? People loaning out money. There's hackers. There's a lot of like real world parallels with the internet looking like Twitter. You know, there's a totally different vibe in Zenless Zone Zero. Okay? There's a totally different vibe. So I feel like this game does capture a different audience. Okay? I think this game does capture a way different audience. They're just different. They're just different. Yeah. I'm not like, it's very fantasy. Genshin Impact is high fantasy. Okay? It doesn't have to be like baby gacha game, whatever. I'm just saying it's very high fantasy, and Zenless Zone Zero is urban fantasy. It is urban as okay, modern as okay. There's a lot of like jargon being thrown around too. It is trying to hit a slightly older demographic, I would feel, than Genshin Impact. It's so much more sexually driven. Zenless Zone Zero is so much more sexually driven than Genshin Impact, right? I think we can all agree on that. Just look at the poster child, Nicole, right? Nicole has her tits out. It's crazy. All right. Grace, it's different. It is hitting a different crowd. It is hitting a different age demographic. Okay. So this game, I feel like it is doing its job. It does have a different audience. Yeah, dude, like how many times are you going to see Zhu Yuan's ass from all the trailers, all the videos combined? This game is trying to do different things. Zhu Yuan has handlebars on her ass. That's crazy. Okay, to be fair, the handlebars are actually a thing. They're actually a thing from like for special forces, okay? Come on. Come on.
If we go over here to the separate, China did 66 million of that 96, which is fucking ridiculous. And then when you look at Honkai and Genshin Impact's China versions, which where the hell is that even at? Here we go. Honkai Star Rail, dude, it dropped from 60 down to 16, bro, in China. That is insane. And what that tells me is that China's trendy as hell and just jumps on the next popular Hoyo game. That's what that tells me. When I look at Genshin, it's the same thing, 38 down to 19. What the I mean, this is way worse though. But you take—
I think they could be saving. I think they could be saving. How big was Shenzhou Luofu to China? And that's like super wuxia Chinese like fantasy, right? I think they could be saving. I think they could hardcore be saving, you know?
Take these numbers and just plug them in here and then boom, there you go, right? Global in China are almost a 1-to-1. That never happens. This never actually happens, but it did. So I think these numbers are quite telling in the direction that I am kind of like painting it in. But at the end of the day, again, I'm not stating this as facts. I'm merely commenting on what I see and taking it as face value. Now I want to move on to Wuthering Waves though, because Wuthering Waves dropped big time in global and it dropped in China barely though. It actually barely moved in China when we compare.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. July is 1.1, right? Yeah. Wait. Is July 1.1 for Wuthering Waves? It came out like June 28th? Oh my god. There's no shot, dude. Holy shit, it missed. Chainly only came out 21st, though. That's true. You think Chainly was that much more popular? But this was supposed to be their big break, man. 1.1 is supposed to be their big break. They're supposed to, like, improve everything. Their story's improved. The characters improved, right? They fixed all the bugs. There's still a lot of bugs. But they fixed a lot of the stuff the player were asking for. I don't know. And then what do we got over here? For global Wuthering. Oh my god. Oh my god. The Wuthering Waves global dropped off the face of the earth. That's crazy. Wua had a lot of hype going in. It had like, not a lot of hype, sorry. A lot of attention going in. And then now they got their biggest content patch. It kind of fell flat. Tourists left probably. Dead game. I don't want to call Wua a dead game. I honestly don't. It's not the game for me. But that's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, the numbers are there. The numbers are there. And I feel like with Zenless Zone Zero, the right take, the right stance is to say, you know what? We're going to know more later. This is promising still. I think it's promising. But we're going to know more later. With Wuthering Waves, I'm like, what the f just happened? How do you lose? How do you lose half? How do you lose half for global on your big content patch? I feel like, honestly, guys, I'm going to be honest. I don't think hardcore is it. I don't think hardcore is it. I think Wuthering Waves was always going to be a very niche game. And I feel like they did a pretty good job on the marketing. They did. For the launch of the game, they did a good job on the marketing because they stacked it up against Genshin Impact and they said, hey, look at us. We have so much better gameplay than Genshin Impact. That drummed up a lot of excitement. A lot of people were hopping on that train. And then they played the game. And then the gacha gamers realized, oh, we don't actually want a game like this. We don't actually want a game that's going to beat our ass for hologram fights, you know? Maybe we don't actually want this. Maybe we don't want an edgier setting, you know? I feel like that was the sentiment for a lot of gacha gamers, you know? I feel like they kind of grew disenchanted with Wuthering Waves. And then Natlan's coming out. The hype for that is palpable, you know? So I don't know. Wuthering Waves is definitely still here to stay. Like, I'm interested to see where it goes from here. But I do think the focus on gameplay, the focus on it being more hardcore than other gacha games, it's not something that was ever going to pay off. It's not something that was ever going to pay off. Every Wuwa Kurobot shill is super satisfied with the gameplay. They love the game to bits. But I don't think that is hitting a general audience, you know? And I also think that a lot of other things fail with Wuthering Waves. I think personally the biggest thing is that the world sucks. The world sucks. The characters suck. The music's not that good. I feel like the writing is ass. And I feel like with gacha games, this is what I learned from Connor's thoughts. This is what I thought of myself. This is what I strongly believe. You need something else other than the gameplay to hook you in. And I don't like Wuwa's world. I don't like its writing. I don't like its characters. I feel like they're flat. Wuwa lost a lot of ground on their story and their writing because the closed beta test, they got feedback where they didn't want Yang Yang and Chisha pulling a gun on Rover. So they lost a lot of that. Calcharo was supposed to be in the main story. He's nowhere to be seen in 1.0. Everyone comes in for a photo finish on 1.0's ending, and they're just making their first appearance for the first time. Tao Chi, right? We don't know these characters. Okay, the story's ass. The story's ass for Wuthering Waves. It is absolute ass. No one is getting invested in these characters because half of them don't even exist. They got scrapped in the closed beta test. So, yeah, I mean, that was a move. That was a move. Unfortunately, I mean, they definitely don't want to go against their audience from the closed beta test, right? But, like, that costs them. I think Zenless Zone Zero is on the rise. We still don't know who Calcharo is. I haven't played 1.1. I thought maybe they'd introduce you, but yeah, I guess if you don't know him, you don't know him. They killed Yang Yang and Shisha as characters worse than Paimon. It's bad. It's so hard to get invested into. I think so too. 100% I think so too. And it's just like, oh my god. So much chuny writing. I gotta do a video on the writing compared Wuthering Waves to Zenless Zone Zero, because there are some concrete ass examples that I have. Very, very concrete examples. How the writing falls flat for Wuthering Waves, how it's so much better in Zenless. It's so good. I'll probably do that right after I do my chapter 1 lore breakdown. But anyway.
Compared to how bad it dropped globally, that's actually pretty interesting. What I will say about Wuthering Waves is based off of what
Hold on. Someone said something in chat I just want to address. I don't think ZZZ story is terrible. It's not amazing, but it's like a nice little slice of life anime for me personally. It is not a slice of life. Okay, I'm tired of hearing that. Okay, it has some slice of life moments. Okay, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It has slice of life moments, but it's not slice of life. Okay, chapter 1. Chapter 1. Do you know what happens in chapter 1? First of all, you have this cat, Nekomata. She wants to kill Gentle House. She wants to kill the main cast because they killed her father, right? Then they find this secret underground plot, this plot by an evil corporation to literally nuke an entire fucking city of people. They wanted to kill. They wanted to genocide Canvas Street. Okay? They would have gotten away with it too. No one knew. No one knew that they were actually gonna murder everyone in Canvas Street just to save costs, okay? And then you have like chapter 3 with Rain, right? The whole story arc of the whole writing of Zenless Zone Zero. I need to like do a lore breakdown of chapter 2 and 3, honestly, but I think chapter 1 and the prologue is good anime manga writing. They have a whole arc of Nekomata has a whole character arc, right? Where she comes around, she wants to redeem herself, she sacrifices herself, she offers herself as a means to get Nicole, the Gentle House, out of the situation, right? As well as save Canvas Street, redeem herself and redeem her gang, redeem her family, right? It's like the writing is great for Zenless Zone Zero. Just not a lot of people are paying attention to it. But I promise you, it's going to get better. And with the comics, with the scenery, or with the cutscenes, everything that is to come, it's going to be a lot more impactful. And if you want proof of that, just look at the lore teaser. It's good. It's good. The storytelling is bad. The storytelling is not that... I don't know. I guess I can't argue against that because a lot of you guys don't know what this story is. But the comic book style, I think, is really good. Definitely a lot better than Wuwa. There are so many bad story beats in Wuwa. It's insane.
Everybody has told me it's just horrible to play on a mobile device. I've always been of the firm belief that Wuthering Waves is more successful on console than any of these other games are because it's just more, or I'm sorry, not console, PC. It needs to drop on console. PC, because it's just...
Oh my god. Wait. Is Wuthering Waves even on console?
Just more of a mechanically savvy game on a PC, way more so than the other titles. So it sucks that you can't look at PC sales on this, revenue.
Wait. We're not saying that, right? We're not saying like, oh, like there's PC hidden numbers and like Wuthering Waves is popping off on PC. We're not saying that, right? I don't know if I have a better image of this. 2022 global games market. Mobile games, 103.5 billion. And then look at PC games. PC games, console games combined is less than mobile games market. Okay? If you're just comparing PC games to mobile games, it's a quarter. It's not going to make a difference, like, at all. At all. You're not going to tell me, like, oh, if we had the PC numbers, Wuthering Waves would actually be, like, popping off. No. Okay, maybe he's not saying that. Maybe he's saying it'll help it. But sure, we have Zenless Zone Zero PC. We have Genshin Impact PC. We have Honkai Star Rail in PC. It's not going to make a difference. There is no world. That is copium as fuck. The PC market is like a quarter of a size, if that. If that. No fucking way. No fucking way. ZZZ is huge on console. Yeah, and like to say like, oh, we don't see the PC numbers for Wuthering Waves. Like, okay, well, we don't see PC console numbers for Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, or Genshin Impact either. Like, there's no way. There's just no way. The playing field is even. Wuthering Waves is not this massively like PC backed game. Wuthering Waves did not hit the untapped PC market. There's no fucking shot. It's PC and mobile only. Okay, so it's not even on console. It's not even on console. Wuthering Waves or Zenless Zone Zero is on console. There's no fucking shot. That is copium as dude. Holy. No way. I feel like Gacha Smack, he's making a lot of good points, valid claims, but I feel like that's copium. That is copium as fuck. Oh my god. You cannot mention that. I think it has some elements of truth, but okay. But mention the other things with elements of truth then. Zenless Zone Zero console, Zenless Zone Zero PC, Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, same thing. You're not gonna say like just Wuthering Waves PC, oh, we don't have those numbers. There's no shot.
Chart, but it is what it is. That said, If you think Wuthering Waves is failing, I would like to go back to that same exact argument I just told you guys. Wuthering Waves, when we look at where it used to be, Kudo, as a company, we scroll down here, where the hell is Punishing Gray? Look at Punishing Gray Raven. Punishing Gray Raven was barely scraping for 1 million in profits not too long ago. I'm actually impressed that it's almost at 3 million right here, because Punishing Gray...
That is a good narrative. I think what he's going to say is that Kuro Games never hit those kind of numbers, right? And to hit those numbers with Wuthering Waves, big W for them. Big W for them. Absolutely. Big W for them, right? So now they're going to use this increased revenue, this increased, market cap to fuel more things, essentially, right? Build more things. Okay, sure. I think that makes sense. But this drop, 27 to 13? That's crazy. That's a crazy drop. I'm just saying.
Million in profits not too long ago. I'm actually impressed that it's almost at 3 million right here, because Punishing Gray Raven just wasn't making any money for the last couple of months. You can go back to the other revenue charts and look. I'm not making that up. Good job on PGR this month for killing it, by the way. It went up to 3 million. But what I'm trying to tell you is Kudo Games, this is where they lived before Wuthering Waves. Okay? Yeah. They're over. Their maximum profits were like 1 million, 2 million, 3 tops, guys. They are up here after Wuthering Waves, making not 1, not 2, not 3 million, but 46 million with 3 of the days froze or whatever. And then 30 million, bro. They're making 70 fucking million dollars from 1 to 2 to 3 million. That's like 1,000%. That's 3,000% increase. It's insane. So this game and the company as a whole collectively, bro, they're like a stock that's shooting straight the fuck up right now. They're ecstatic. They are happy. They are dancing around the fire, bro. So although Wuthering Waves dropped to 30 million, that's still 30 million from 3 million. You see what I'm trying to tell you? This company is killing it. And I would like to express to you guys, they have nowhere near the exposure that Hoyoverse has as a company.
Very true.
They don't have the exposure. I want to compare it to the YouTube scenario again. My YouTube channel, its exposure is nowhere near the exposure of a massive channel like Moist Critical. I don't reach the audience that he reaches with my channel. So you can't say, oh, that guy's growth is doing way better than yours if he only went from 1 million to 1.1 million in terms of a viewership or something. But I go from 10,000 to 60,000 views in viewership per video. Yeah. You see that there's 6X. A big increase in percent value there. And that's how you have to look at Wuthering Waves versus the Hoyoverse sphere. The fact that it's doing what it's doing is nothing short of phenomenal for a company growth. If it was a stock, I'd invest in that fucking stock, but I'd also invest in Hoyoverse as well. It'd be like investing in Amazon versus investing in like a smaller company in the similar niches with a much higher upside potential, if that makes sense. Yeah. Those are my thoughts on the whole big four, whatever the hell you want to call Wuthering Waves, HSR, Genshin, and ZZZ. Other than that, that's all I pretty much care about, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Again, guys, I don't state all of this stuff as facts. I'm merely like commenting on what I see. But yeah, peace.
Hell yeah. Good video, good points from Mr. Gacha Smack. I do think his bias is showing a lot. I think he does have a lot of copium. Come on, you can't mention like fucking PC numbers of Wuthering Waves and get me to believe that you're not high on copium, dude. Come on. That is crazy. When Zenless Zone Zero has console and PC, when Honkai Star Rail Genshin Impact has console and PC, like, come on, dude. That is like, that's copium. I think every other point that he laid out makes a ton of sense. Absolutely. Okay. Zenless Zone Zero has not yet proven itself. We will learn a lot more of its success in the next month when Natlan is out, when Fei Xiao is out, and when we get like Qingyi probably 1.1, whoever they're going to release for Zenless Zone Zero. I think we are going to know a lot more. 1,100 comments. Let me refresh this. Yo, Lies 18, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Hell yeah, dude. All right, let's get into these comments. These kids act like they're holding stock options in these companies. Real talk? You kinda are. You kinda are. Just think about it really quick, okay? You're not holding stock options, okay? You're not making money, okay? But you do have some level of investment in these games, okay? Especially if you spend money, okay? The worst thing that can happen to your game, what is the worst thing that can happen to your gacha game? What is the worst thing that can happen to a gacha game, guys? Tell me. EOS. End of service. And what happens to all of the money that you've spent when you get end of service? It's gone. I mean, it's already gone. But now you don't even get to look at your waifus. You don't even get to look at your characters. You don't get to look at anything you've done, anything you've built. That time, it's gone. Investment makes you money. You're right. Investment does make you money. That's why I said it's not a monetary investment, but it is still some form of investment, right? It's an emotional investment, okay? You are attached to this game. You are attached to how well it does, because if it fails, your time is gone. The meaning, the sentiment, everything, all the time you've put, it's gone. You don't get to do it anymore, right? You don't get to do it anymore. You don't get to mess with them anymore. Your time will feel so much more wasted than if it didn't AUS. I really think that the revenue drop is connected with pretty unpopular banners in both HSR and Genshin. The first one had a Jade banner, which not a lot of people were pulling on, and the second had a bunch of reruns without new characters. True. A lot of people were bringing that up in chat. The key point for Hoyo is exactly to keep that same audience base to pay their money continuously with the 3 big titles they have. They've already been making enough money, and just keeping that revenue would be good for them. Also, there are simply not that much gamers now compared to the COVID period, so it is no longer a we want to expand more situation for the whole game industry. That is a very good point. That is a very good point. I feel like we are on a downturn in the terms of gaming industry, in terms of streaming, in terms of gacha games. COVID's done. COVID's done. And you know what game people are playing now? They're playing real life. They're playing the game of life now, okay? A lot of the people that were playing these games are now playing the game of life. You and I aren't. You and I aren't. That game. That game sucks dick. But a lot of people who were playing before now have a lot of stuff in real life they can spend on, okay? So that's where they are. And that's why the viewership is going down. That's why the revenue's going down. And honestly, I agree with this guy. Hoyoverse being able to keep that 150 mil between all their 3 games, that's Zenless Zone Zero doing its job, man.